Minecraft players have a problem. Or let's say there is actually more than one problem. Recently, many of you may have realized that they are kinda bored of Minecraft. Some have even found or find it frustrating. But then again, some people still enjoy the game. Today, I would like to take a closer look at the interesting climate that has been created in the Minecraft community. We will look at how these three categories I already hinted at, the frustrated, the bored and the entertained, have appeared, expressed or are expressing themselves on the happenings around Minecraft. Remember, it's just a simplification to capture past events in a comprehensible way and give you the much needed perspective about them. At first sight, the frustrated are the most visible category. Unfulfilled expectations are their basis. Perhaps all of us have seen a number of videos in which their creators criticize the incompetent Mojang whose game is dying in front of their eyes. We can clearly see the good intention here, the need to be critical of something. However, we can already see an issue in the way the criticism is laid out. Excessive expectations on the part of the developer. But on the contrary, they don't put it much on the player's activity. This is despite the fact that they are taking suggestions for an improvement straight up from the players. They often advocate mods against the incompetence of Mojang. They try to offer a simple solution, but in reality, it just covers up their frequent internal problems. Not all creators have adopted to the more difficult conditions of existence. More creativity and competence is needed than ever to engage viewership. Some players can't break away from the game even though it frustrates them. So they complain amongst themselves under videos of frustrated creators where they confirm their thoughts and they even form radicalized groups. Alternatively, they can live in anger, or sometimes they can at least make fun of the worsening situation. This all started roughly after the Caves and Cliffs update was split, specifically not adding fireflies. That in itself was a 2-pixel joke. But it went on much more seriously with the drama surrounding mob vote, which was eventually cancelled this year. I wonder what community involvement would have been with the addition of all three mobs. Good intentions of criticism doesn't mean its appropriate execution and wording. Their criticism is not realistic and it's directly destructive. The community has no levers to change the situation in Mojang, even though Mojang gave the community opportunities to comment extensively on the game. An idealistic vision of change that is completely out of touch with reality fills the narratives of the frustrated. But there is a problem. Salvation will not come. For me, this group embodies a tragic, dead-end situation, unhealthy love of the game, a disconnect from the facts, and an unnecessary burden on the others by doing so. This category is not so visible, unlike the previous one, but the deep majority of casual players will fall into this category. Most of them had enough of the cube game and have simply become bored. And when the game is boring, fewer people play it as a result. This group, unlike the frustrated, has no problem staying away from one game. They just turn the game off and go doing something else. Maybe they don't have an idea, but they have another option, another game, friends, or a job. The smaller amount of free time after the pandemic has certainly shown itself as well. Let's be clear, a large portion of Minecraft players experienced the game during the first wave in the early 2010s. The second wave appeared in the late 2010s after the new thematic updates that dramatically transformed the game. I have to highlight creative efforts on YouTube and the multiplayer aspect of the game. However, the core gameplay has remained more or less the same, just modified by the big updates. We often forget that different parts of the community evaluate updates differently. The adjustments of the game were very well received by people who have been playing the game for a long time. They wanted some depth in the game they spent a lot of time playing. But I observed the complete opposite as well. I have friends who play Minecraft casually. Changing the ore distribution, for example, didn't make them very happy. For them, such things are complicated and require too much time. Things in the latest updates are not so interesting for casual players too. No wonder they offer small insignificant changes. They don't fundamentally change the whole game, although the overall experience is, let's say, better. Most casual players are not adepts at experiencing the game for a long time. They just cannot have the same eyes as, for example, a content creator. And that's fine. Everyone has different expectations from the game. Not everyone is moving away from the game and thinking negatively about it. We still have a group who enjoy the game and are positive about it. Some enjoy the same things, others adapt it. The goal of these players is usually not to finish the game as fast as possible, to have the best tools, to break world records, but rather to enjoy the game either alone or with friends. The main innovation of the entertainment are long-term approaches. It wasn't hard, it wasn't something groundbreaking, it just took simple creativity and sometimes not even that. Over the last few versions of the game, there have been significant changes to the building. Mojang continually expanded and still expands the variety of blocks. There are options that weren't in the game before. The growth of the modding scene is also a big theme, adding stimulating features for single and multiplayer. Long-term approaches have appeared on the well-known Hermitcraft server. I managed to track two such approaches by watching videos of Grian and Mambo Jumbo. Grian has made no secret of a different approach since the beginning of Season 10. His approach is about interacting with other players in various plots and side projects. He gradually enhances the surroundings into which he imprints his personality. It's a typical slow approach strategy where everything gradually fits together. Mambo Jumbo progresses more directly. However, his approach in each project is very creative. Redstone still plays a role with him, connecting his base. He is a typical case of a player who takes advantage of the building opportunities. This is all supported by creativity from the film industry and natural interaction with the rest of the server. In general, this group has a rather positive perception of Mojang. After all, Mojang gives them options and maintains the status quo. Criticism is certainly possible from these positions, but when it does occur, it is much less burdened with frustration. Rather, the criticism is natural with all its flaws and does not often go into an exaggerated adoration of Mojang. On the other hand, we must acknowledge the bias of content creators who are closer tied to Mojang and therefore less critical than is often needed. I have shown you 3 theoretical categories for understanding the recent past of Minecraft. I think that they can give us a better description of the Minecraft community climate than the individual stories of the players. But of course, the individual stories are kinda compressed in all of this, and you might have found your own story there. Personally, I have also trouble fitting in these categories, and I believe there will be more of you. I don't play Minecraft much anymore, I don't have the time or the friends for that. Instead, I produce content trying to think critically and discover something for those who are still unaware. I'm certainly not the frustrated, but I also can't quite classify myself as the bored or the entertained. I'm somewhere in between all these categories. Each category has its own. I don't want to offend any of them. I just wanted to state basic facts on theoretical concepts. I know that I certainly sounded very critical in the case of the frustrated. This has to do with my negative view of ridiculous. The frustrated definitely have some valid points too, but they dream too much. I know it's hard to see the current situation altogether with so much fragmentation. There are different platforms, versions of the game, player focuses, opinions, and there are different stories on top of that. It's actually very complex, so we cannot be that surprised by the irrational reactions. I would like you to understand this and try not to blame others in this case. I would like you to keep a healthy relationship with Minecraft and other games. When you play a game, make sure you have a good experience and make it enjoyable on all levels. That's how I would like to end this video. I will appreciate likes and subscribes, but more discussion and spreading of the video. I will look forward to seeing you in the next one.